Who do we look to for help when we seem to be alone and in total darkness as life tosses us about? Let's understand that the one who loves us will come to our rescue. Let's look at the story of a small boat in a stormy sea in Matthew 14. Immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he'd sent the multitudes away, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. Now when evening came, he was alone there. Sometimes Jesus sends us forth ahead of him. Perhaps it's because Jesus has a special miracle planned for us. The crowd wanted to make Jesus an earthly king. When seduced by worldly promotion that is not in God's plan, find a solitary place to pray and seek the Lord's will. But the boat was now in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. When Jesus sends us forth, we may be tossed by waves. Shallow lakes are known for dangerous storm waves. Sometimes we doubt our calling. Jesus knows a storm is coming. Winds of false doctrine, waves of temptation, and storms of mistreatment. We must walk by faith and not by sight. Now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. The fourth or last night watch was from about 3 a.m. to sunrise. Sometimes we go through most of the night before Jesus comes. He may come with a miracle or supernatural event like walking on water. God often intervenes just before we lose hope. He wants to teach us faith. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It's a ghost," and they cried out for fear. When God appears, people are often afraid. We must remember that like at Mount Sinai and the Sea of Galilee, God reveals himself because we're highly favored. As they thought that Jesus was an apparition, we too can think that Jesus is somebody else. Remember, God comes to bless. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it's I. Don't be afraid." While tossed about with trials of faith, Jesus comes and speaks to us. Jesus calms the storms and provides safety. A church worship space is called the nave, meaning ship. As Noah was brought to safety, Jesus comes and carries us through the storms to eternity. And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it's you, command me to come to you on the water." So he said, "Come." And when Peter had come down out of the boat, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Peter asked Jesus to let him walk on water too. So he said, "Come." Some people are bold like Peter and jump right in. There's no criticism of that personality here. In an initial rush of faith and desire to be with Jesus, spontaneity is good. Perseverance is better. But when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid. And beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, "Lord, save me." After his impetuosity, Peter began to doubt. He was afraid. In the conflict between sight and faith, faith is the evidence of things not seen. Sinking in life's stormy waters, often we have more zeal than faith. In our tempestuous circumstances, we cry out, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, and said to him, "O you of little faith, why did you doubt?" And when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those who were in the boat came and worshipped him, saying, "Truly you are the Son of God." Why do we doubt? Like Peter, we sometimes step out on faith. Like Peter, we don't continue in faith. Peter began with a prayer request, followed by an invitation from Jesus to come. All this brings us to declare verbally, like the disciples, "Truly you are the Son of God." Sometimes we seem to be all alone at night in a storm at sea. When we're tossed by waves of temptation and doubt, Jesus comes to us in the midst of a dark night and calms the waters.